Hello, my friends. Today's question is: does our brain belong to the body or the soul? Furthermore, can we call our brain a kind of computer? Let's address these questions. First of all, our brain is like a computer, and this is a part of all animals, including human body. Now, the difference between other animals and human beings is that in case of human beings, the real self is soul, and which is actually put into this body by God for the purpose of test, and this soul, which is our true self, is the operator of this computer. So basically meaning that unlike all other animals, it is only the human being which has a driver controlling this or operating this computer. I hope it is understandable now. Let me further elaborate on that. It is this computer operator, that is the self, the soul, which controls and manages the body through brain. I mean, how it uses the body is the soul's test. God has established a link between the soul and brain, and that is how the soul is able to control the body by using this brain. It may be useful to talk about soul briefly here as well. Soul is not like the body. Soul is a totally different entity. It has certain attributes. For instance, it has moral concepts, it has aesthetical concepts, it has mathematical concepts, and these are the concepts which allow it to use the body to operate in this world. If I may also mention here that the test of the souls is only in the moral sphere. Now let's move a little further. Both body and soul needs food for their nurturing. As regards body, we all know, has instincts. One of the instinct is survival of the self, and the other is survival of the species. Survival of the self includes eating, drinking, and shelter, whereas survival of the species includes procreation. Now the difference between body and soul is the body basically lives by instincts. It continues to function on these instincts, whereas the soul doesn't need this kind of physical food. It is non-physical, and therefore its food is also non-physical. It gets its strength or empowerment by connecting with its creator. And that is the reason spirituality is so popular or so well known all over the world, because all human beings in some way or the other recognize that we are spirits or souls, and the food for soul is spirituality, which is another name for religion or faith. I hope it makes sense. Now, if the soul is truly connected with its source, it feels really empowered. And if I may also mention here that God has been sending messengers and prophets since the creation of Adam for this purpose. That is, God wanted to ensure that we, the souls, get the right food, and that right food comes from God. It is for this reason you see the existence or prevalence of so many spiritualities or religions in this world. Now just imagine, if the soul is getting its proper food on a regular basis, it then controls the body properly. It can make the body do things what the soul desires. For instance, the body has instincts, and if it is unbridled, if it has no control, it can do many harmful things to the fellow bodies. For instance, it may deprive them from food or shelter or drinking or whatever they need to survive. Likewise, the instinct of procreation may lead to many issues or problems in the society. Now I hope we understand it better that the real test of the soul or our true self is to operate this body in accordance with the message of our Creator, that is God. It also tells us that the satisfaction of instincts in itself is not a bad thing at all. The only thing we need to ensure is that our bodies satisfy their instincts within certain limits. For instance, it is absolutely fine for them to eat, drink, and prepare a shelter for themselves. And likewise, it can also procreate, but within certain limits. And those limits are provided to us by our God, and that is where the role of soul comes to play. Because soul is the one which receives this message, and that is the one which can handle the body according to the dictates or message of God. If I may also mention here a very interesting verse from Quran which tells us how God helps souls in this word. In chapter 29, verse 69, Quran states, "And those who strive for us means Allah, God, we will surely guide them to our ways. And indeed, Allah is with the doers of good." My friends, this verse clearly tells us that the soul would certainly be guided by our Lord, our God, if it strives to find Him, if it strives to know God's message. This also directly or indirectly tells us that the soul, by its very nature, is extremely desirous of getting connected with God. But sadly, many of us fail to satisfy this need of our soul. I hope it makes sense. If I may also mention here that it is for this reason that when we are in trouble or facing a very challenging time, we look towards our Creator. I mean, the soul starts searching for God, looks towards God. I think I will stop here, and I hope that I have addressed this question adequately. Thank you.